The essence of scent is defined by a profound paradox. A single atomic substitution can completely redefine our sensory world. Consider a molecular structure perceived as sweet, fruity, and pleasant. By merely introducing a sulfur atom, the chemistry shifts. Suddenly, the brain identifies the profile as putrid or decaying. This isn't just an aesthetic experience. It is an evolutionarily optimized, high-speed data transmission system. Scent signals bypass standard cognitive relay stations, delivering primal data directly into the emotional centers of the human brain. When you inhale, volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, enter the nasal cavity. These light molecules travel to the olfactory epithelium, a specialized tissue acting as our primary chemical sensor. Once at the epithelium, these molecules bind to specific G-protein-coupled receptors. This binding event is the critical physical trigger that translates volatile chemical data into an electrical neural signal. Most sensory information follows a standard route. Visual and auditory signals travel first to the thalamus, the brain's primary relay station. The thalamus acts as a gatekeeper, processing and sorting data before sending it to the rest of the brain. This adds a slight delay to the cognitive response. In contrast, olfactory signals bypass this relay completely. They follow an express lane, traveling directly to the olfactory bulb. Because scent avoids the thalamus, it gains immediate, unfiltered access to the limbic system, allowing for near-instant emotional and memory activation. Unlike vision or sound, which are routed through the brain's relay station, olfactory signals take a different route. While most information hits the gatekeeper, the prefrontal cortex where logic and rational assessment occur, scent bypasses it entirely. This direct pathway creates an immediate, raw emotional response. Because the prefrontal cortex is skipped, these reactions are often uncontrollable and near instantaneous. The resulting physiological surge happens before logic can ever intervene. This is why scent is the most effective biological conduit for emotional manipulation. The olfactory bulb acts as the primary sensory interface. Unlike other senses, it shares a direct, short pathway link to the limbic system. Specifically, neural tracks reach directly into the amygdala, the center for emotional processing, and the hippocampus, the engine for memory formation. This unique physical architecture explains why scents trigger such visceral, instantaneous emotional and memorial responses, bypassing the brain's rational gatekeepers. The Proustian phenomenon is the sudden, vivid recall of past events triggered by scent. While once considered a poetic metaphor, by 2026 it is recognized as a precise, measurable neurological event. This recall happens when a scent molecule activates specific neural clusters. We now treat these as data-encoded memories that carry high synaptic weight. Unlike visual or auditory input, scent memories are encoded with exceptional durability. In the hippocampus, olfactory signals trigger a unique neurological phenomenon known as high synaptic weight. While standard sensory pathways experience synaptic decay over time, scent-linked neural clusters exhibit increased synaptic strength, effectively anchoring the memory in time and emotional context. Researchers are now utilizing real-time fMRI technology to bridge the gap between volatile chemistry and neurobiology. By observing the brain in high resolution, we can pinpoint the exact moment a scent molecule unlocks a specific neural cluster. When a volatile molecule binds to the receptor, it acts as a key. This triggers a cascade of activity, lighting up specific hippocampal clusters. This is the physiological birth of a memory recall. This process allows scientists to begin mapping an individual's unique emotional scent library, cataloging how specific chemical structures correlate to deep-seated emotional states. By identifying these distinct synaptic patterns, we are effectively decoding the architecture of the human emotional experience through the language of smell. The difference between a repellent stench and true euphoria often hinges on the specific molecular architecture of volatile organic compounds. By precisely adjusting the sulfur-to-carbon ratio, chemists can tune how these molecules interact with human olfactory receptors. This molecular tuning triggers a disproportionate neural response, effectively increasing the euphoria index, a measure of dopamine release in the brain's ventral striatum, by as much as 22%. By 2026, we have entered an era of industrial synthetic nostalgia. Brands are no longer just selling products. They are engineering specific memories. Using complex scent profiles, corporations manufacture positive associations, effectively sculpting the air in retail environments to trigger manufactured nostalgia. This neuromarketing strategy bypasses rational decision-making. By releasing calibrated bursts of scent, brands hack the amygdala, creating artificial but powerful comfort responses. Retailers implementing this scent architecture have measured an 18% increase in consumer sentiment. We are effectively becoming walking sensors in a landscape of manufactured childhoods. Brands are now engineering artificial childhoods. By synthesizing precise scent profiles like fresh-cut grass, ozone, and cedar, companies create a chemical blueprint of nostalgia. This isn't just fragrance, it is neuroarchitecture. These volatile organic compounds target the hippocampus, re-encoding the retail space as a place of childhood safety and subconscious trust. By bypassing the rational mind, these scents effectively hack the amygdala. Consumers no longer perceive a store, they perceive an emotional memory, drastically lowering resistance to purchase. Brands utilize molecular encapsulation to trap volatile organic compounds within protective microscopic shells. This process transforms a transient scent into a stable, time-release data packet. By engineering the shell's degradation rate, retailers can ensure the scent is released at precise intervals. This prevents olfactory fatigue, allowing the fragrance to linger steadily throughout the consumer's journey. Once released, these molecules bypass cognitive analysis, triggering the amygdala directly. This molecular engineering effectively lowers emotional barriers, priming the shopper for a specific mood state before their conscious mind can process the environment. Retail neuroarchitecture represents the cutting edge of consumer experience. In 2026, luxury chains began implementing scent sculpting to transform the physical shopping environment. By mimicking warm, pheromone-like aromatic profiles, these stores reported a measurable sentiment increase of 15 to 18% compared to unscented controls. This strategic use of scent effectively lowers emotional barriers, turning a standard transaction into a neuro-architected experience that maximizes consumer affinity. Consumer dwell time, the duration a shopper spends in a retail space, is a critical metric for profitability. Without intentional olfactory design, shoppers often move through environments with task-oriented haste. By engineering specific scent profiles, brands can manipulate subconscious comfort levels. Molecules like these act as neurological anchors, effectively lowering the brain's internal urgency clock. When exposed to these calibrated scents, shoppers exhibit a measurable change in behavior. They slow their pace, their peripheral focus broadens, and their dwell time increases significantly, often by double digits. Data confirms that this subtle scent sculpting creates an emotional safety zone. By maximizing comfort, retailers extend the window of interaction, directly correlating with higher conversion rates. As we master the chemistry of scent to influence emotion, we face a critical ethical frontier: olfactory transparency. Because scent bypasses the thalamus, it initiates physiological responses before the prefrontal cortex can intervene. This creates a bypass of our cognitive autonomy. Experts argue that individuals have a fundamental right to know when their environment is being chemically engineered to alter mood, dwell time, or consumer intent. This leads to calls for olfactory transparency laws. Such regulations would require spaces to disclose the use of synthetic aromatics, much like ingredients on food packaging. Without these boundaries, our emotional comfort and nostalgia could become proprietary products, stripped of their authentic origins and used as tools of unseen manipulation. The capacity to engineer nostalgia presents a profound ethical challenge. Because scent bypasses the thalamus and enters the limbic system directly, it triggers physiological responses before the prefrontal cortex can provide a logical filter. When corporations design environments to induce artificial nostalgia, they are effectively hacking our memories for profit. This invisible influence creates a black box of emotional control, necessitating new public oversight and legal transparency standards. The next frontier in sensory technology is digital scent injection. Startups are currently testing hardware modules that interface with mobile devices, allowing them to emit calibrated bursts of aroma timed perfectly to digital content. By synchronizing these molecular releases with visual and auditory triggers, developers aim to transition passive viewing into a fully immersive experience. This turns digital consumption into a multi-sensory event. This process leverages the limbic bypass, ensuring that the scent is processed before the prefrontal cortex can rationalize the stimuli. The goal is to encode memories deeper, making digital moments feel physically and emotionally present. Digital scent injection represents a fundamental shift in media consumption. It aims to transform passive screen viewing into a multi-sensory, memory-encoded event. By synchronizing precise molecular bursts with digital frames, this technology targets the limbic system, bypassing cognitive filters to create durable, scent-linked neural pathways. This creates the potential for artificial nostalgia, where media experiences are not just viewed, but felt and remembered with the intensity of genuine lived experiences. We have traced the journey of scent from volatile organic compounds to the deepest chambers of human memory. It begins with chemical architecture, simple molecules that, through precise atomic arrangement, transition into the gas phase. These signals cross the olfactory interface, bypassing logical filters to reach the limbic system, where they are encoded with high synaptic weight. This chemical architecture creates a bridge between the physical world and our internal emotional landscape. Memories are not just abstract thoughts, they are literally built on chemical foundations. By decoding this architecture, we uncover the biological reality of nostalgia and emotional response. Be aware, the scent of your childhood comfort, the smell of home, or the aroma of safety are increasingly becoming industrial products. These scents are designed to bypass your logical prefrontal cortex, effectively creating an emotional influence you cannot easily rationalize away. Your choices are being sculpted in real time. Stay vigilant. Understanding this olfactory architecture is your best defense against synthetic persuasion.